The one seal I've been waiting on to be able to get the Corolla's engine back in it has finally showed up. Thankfully, 2 of these showed up. I've got this one that showed up at FedEx, or with FedEx, and I've got another one at Toyota. So if I somehow mess up the install of this one, we have one more we can go pick up. So with this seal, we can now get our transfer case attached to our engine and our engine installed back in the Corolla and the Corolla reassembled, and then we can get this thing tuned, and then we have our GR Corolla back with a fully built engine, an upgraded transmission, a bigger turbo, and all of the supporting mods that go with it. I am so excited to finally get this car back on the road. I originally bought the Corolla as a daily. Unfortunately, it did not want to be a daily at the time, so now it's just going to be a super fun, fast daily driver. I'm excited. So let's get our seal in. Thankfully, this looks like a pretty easy seal to install. There's so many seals that go with this, man. There's one inside of this, there's one outside of it. That's literally everywhere. I've got this cup, which I don't know how well this is going to work, but it looks like it almost got it. I just have to knock this side in now, which I'll probably grab an extension for that part. Sick. I think I should pull this off to get the transfer case. I don't know, we'll see. Okay, I am gonna have to take this guy off. The freaking turbo oil drain is in the way. Are you kidding me? I was able to get the transfer case on after a whole lot of anger. Keep in mind, you cannot get this transfer case onto this transmission unless you have the engine out of the way. If you already have the engine on the it's just not gonna happen. There is one bolt, and I don't know how well my camera's gonna pick it up. Right back there behind the transfer case, there's a little protrusion on the engine and a bolt that sticks out on the transfer case, and they hit each other, so you cannot get these on. But we are hooked up. Everything is spinning as it should. Everything is put back on where it should be. We've got our diff, a transmission, engine assembly ready to go back in the car. So before this can go back in the car, we need to take the subframe back out, which it's, I believe we have these 2 bolts right here for the ball joints. So that'll come out, that'll come out. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then the 2 for the steering rack right there. And then the subframe will come out, and then once the subframe's out, we should be able to just slide this back up in there and bolt it back in. I'm going to have Suave, Mr. Mini Truck Man down there, and Brad, our carbon fiber friend, come over and help me kind of guide this in, so that way we've got a couple people, because it's gonna bolt back up 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we've got the pitch mount on the bottom. So actually Brad just left, so it looks like it's just me and Swa. But we should be able to do this. Hey, can I borrow you?
Yeah.
I just need help pulling the front subframe out.
En route, sir.
Should just be
1, 2.
It's gonna be this one first for the steering rack. There you go.
We'll just do our standard friend.
So. I'm gonna take off the handle. Okay, so the one thing that we're just gonna have to watch out for is as it's coming down the steering rack, we're gonna have to clear that. What, man? Ow, are you okay?
Oh shit, I just hit your boulder.
Are you okay?
Yeah, man. Just be peeking towards the front because I'm watching the backside here.
Okay, I'm gonna stop there, come look in.
Reset, let's put this on this line right here.
Tell me when.
Oh. check.
We're looking good on the front.
I'm gonna need your help to push that spindle back. All right, keep going.
Oh. Yeah.
Holy shit.
And we are floating. At least there's like a giant hole.
Right.
We have got our engine installed. Honestly, really not bad with that little hydraulic cart and a 2-post lift. If you don't have a 2-post lift or a hydraulic cart, I'm gonna be honest, it's probably really gonna suck. But we slid it under, brought the car down, brought the engine up, got these 3 engine mounts aligned first because the side of the engine was higher. Then we got these 4 down here. Then we put the subframe back in, and then we were able to get the engine in. So with our engine reinstalled, we can actually start putting everything back together. We've got some wiring that we're gonna have to finagle in here. We've got the ECU we have to put back in, the shift cables, the downpipe, which I'm probably gonna start with the downpipe and the drive shaft bolts first, because I have a feeling those are going to be a little bit of a pain in the butt. We are going to be using this Limit +1 downpipe with their mid pipe. While the car's in the air, we can also get the clutch line in, the mid pipe, the drive shaft bolts, and probably the axles. And that should honestly be a lot of the stuff down here. Now, I don't know if we're gonna be able to get the downpipe on with the drive shaft in, but you know, we're gonna see what we can do here. Oh shit, okay. I think if I take out the front O2 sensor, I should be able to get it, but I think putting it back in is going to be a real pain in the butt. Pull this, go in now. Yes, somehow. Am I still able to get to that O2? Yes, I think I can snake my hand down here and get this guy on, which is the downpipe support bracket. V-band is on. Let me get that O2 sensor back in. If you take the O2 sensor out and then put it in, you'll probably have a much better time trying to get it all in. Slide up through that and up through that. Those will go together like so. And then downpipes, or downpipe and mid pipe will go together like so. We can go like that. Get you started. And the next one can go on the other side. Do I want to go in opposite ways? That way they're kind of like pulling each other. And opposite? No, I don't think so. Those are not threaded long enough. I'm gonna have to get different bolts for this, but at least for now, I suppose that'll work. Okay, so I need that guy. I'm gonna swing out the way. Oh my God, dude. Okay, let it come back in. Let's line up the axle with the splines here. There we go. Okay, so that portion's happy, but this portion over here is not. Let's get this ball joint in the control arm, actually. Oh shit. Okay. There we go. That's why we use a rubber mallet, so that way it doesn't damage the threads.
Always had a way to make it work without another doubt. Always had a way to make it work without another doubt. Always had a way to make it work without another doubt.
Leaking from the same spot. I've got the coolant overflow or the coolant tank as full as it can get. I did find the source of the leak on the bottom swivel fitting on the very bottom of the tank down there. It is actually, it's one of these low profile swivel fittings. So with those swivel fittings, there's two O-rings inside of those, and if you don't have them both, or if one of them's torn, it's gonna leak out of the fitting. Ours only had one O-ring on it. I called Radium, they were nice enough, they were gonna send me a new one, or the O-rings. Thankfully, I've got O-ring kits, so it's not a big deal. I just took the snap ring off the fitting, pulled it out, put a new O-ring in it, put it back together, and now it's holding fluid. So we have coolant in the Corolla. We still have to put transmission fluid and differential fluid in it and oil. But for now, we're gonna go ahead and get the bumper tossed back on because I do have to jet out for tonight. But overall, our engine bay is pretty much back together. I will say that probably the worst of it is the radiator hose down there on the passenger side of the vehicle, because you got the AC lines and I had to put those back on too. So, you know, it's just, there's not a whole lot of room to be able to get down there and feed everything in. Now, while I had the Corolla part, I did opt to have my eVenturi scoop powder coated black, as well as all of my intercooler piping. Personally, I just preferred the black over the red from eVenturi and that candy red that OTL had on those. Candy red looked great, I just don't think it fits well with the blue. So let's go ahead and get our bumper back on. Get that, I think we can put that on permanently actually. We've got our foam, which goes in there. I think I might put a piece of electrical tape around that. That thing likes to fall off. I don't see any reason why the bumper has to come back off, to be honest. So I think we just get the bumper on permanently at this point. Cowl can go back on. I don't want to put the other half of the intake on quite yet, up until the car is ready for like all the fluids to be like in it. You know what I mean? We need oil. Now these engines, I would suggest using an LSPI based oil, but because we're gonna change this oil almost immediately after starting the car, I'm just going to put in some standard oil. And the whole reason I'm flushing it out with new oil is I'm gonna make a freaking mess, dude. Oh no, I'm not. Is because I want to ensure that any contamination that may be in the engine is gonna get out on that first oil change. So we'll probably run the engine for a minute or two, shut it down, drain the oil, and then continue with our lives. So that means we got oil, we got coolant. Now we need to do transmission Now that we have oil in this thing, we need to do transmission fluid. So if you're ever servicing your transmission in these, your drain plug is gonna be right here, and then your fill plug is gonna be right up there. It's like the big 22 millimeter. Take this thing out and show you guys. It's gonna be this guy, right here. So I'm gonna feed a hose into this. Oh wow, that's a small hole. I'm gonna feed a hose into that from the top of the car, and we're just gonna get this thing filled up. Get this whole transmission done, and then we can jump to the transfer case here, which the fill plug is way up there, so this one's gonna be a pain in the butt. There's your drain plug for the transfer case, so how am I gonna do this? I'll admit, I spent more time than I probably should have making a funnel that'll work for this, but we're only doing 2.1 quarts, so it shouldn't take terribly long. I think it's flowing so slow just because of how much the hose necks down to be able to fit into the transmission. Why didn't they just put the fill plug on top? I feel like that would have been so much easier. It's gonna be dripping transmission fluid everywhere down there, I already know it. Good thing I've got a wrench of all sizes. For the transfer case fill plug, if you look up at the end of my socket, it's gonna be right up there. It's really hard to show you guys. I've already broken this free. I ended up having to use a 15/16 socket with a 3/8 ratchet. Oh geez, I'm sorry. With a 3/8 ratchet and an extension from my jack to be able to break that free. It's a 24 millimeter. I don't have a shallow 24. If you have a deep socket, you're not gonna be able to get it, but we can go ahead and pop out the fill plug, and this only takes half a quart. So I'm gonna have to funnel or feed the funnel down from the top of the car and then come back down here to be able to fill that up, but pretty easy to get it out. For this, it's gonna be half a quart of 75/85. This is a little bit thicker. I'll probably do this a little bit at a time. Just gotta let all this go in there, cap it, and then that's all fluids except for the clutch, which we still have to bleed. But at least this way the drivetrain has its fluids, engine has oil, engine has coolant. Alright. Fill plugs in. We got fluids. We are full of fluids. That's what we like. We like being full of fluid. With the oil, coolant, trans fluid and transfer case fluid all done, we now need to do the clutch and bleed the clutch. So it's nice, Toyota does actually give you an access panel, so you don't actually have to remove the upper cowl, which is nice. So we're gonna get some fluid in there. I'm gonna hop in the car and start pressing the clutch pedal with my hand, slowly depressing it back and forth so we don't aerate any fluid. And then I'm gonna see if I can't find somebody to come help me bleed this thing by keeping the clutch depressed as I open the bleeder. So that way we can get some actuation going on here. Because once the clutch is bled, we can finish full reassembly, get the last portion of the intake in, get the under trays on the bottom, and then this thing is done. I've got the car on a battery tender right now because it has not been charging for the past 2 months. So I'm gonna try to get a little bit of juice back in this battery. We are fully reassembled on the Corolla. I just plugged in the EcuTech to see if we had any cells, cleared them, restarted the accessory off on to see if any of them came back. So I believe we are all in the clear on this thing. So at this point, we just need a tune. As soon as we get a tune for the Corolla, we can get the oil initially changed, do cam, brake in, burp the cooling system, and start getting some logs on this thing and actually start putting some break-in miles on this before this goes to the dyno. So with the setup that's in the car on pump gas, I'm really just trying to stay around like 350-ish wheel horsepower. I really don't want a ton on pump gas. All the power is gonna be made on ethanol, It's gonna be a lot safer on ethanol. Ethanol burns cooler. It's got a higher resistance to knock. Yes, it does use more fuel in comparison to pump gas, but when it comes to making power on a high compression engine with a lot of boost, E85 is gonna be your best friend. So it's gonna be the biggest reliability aspect of the car. So I need to get the Corolla pushed out. I need to get the Subaru on the lift, get the Corolla pushed back in, and then this thing is going to chill and hang out while we wait for that tune to come in. So let me play musical cars real quick, get everything moved, get the shop swept, and I'll probably mop in here too real quick. And back to the waiting game we go. Car roulette has been played. The Subaru's back up on the lift. The Corolla's back down on the floor. I think this coming week, I'm actually gonna pull our 06 STI in here and start going through a lot of this stuff on the back rack to get that car going. We have a lot to do. I know a lot of people wanna see me jump back on the GM6, but there is something I'm waiting on that it could heavily impact the quality of the build. And I wanna wait till I have verification on that before I do any more body work, because it's a body work related thing, but it would heavily impact the quality of the car. So I'll probably pull the 06 STI in. Like I said, with the Corolla, we are just waiting on tune. As soon as I get a base tune, we get this thing fired up and get it going. Toss it on the dyno, get some break-in miles, do some power stuff and see how much power we're shooting for, and see where it ends up. I don't know roughly the end number where the car will fall. I have not seen a lot of other GR Corollas with what we have done in the States. I know some of the Yaris's over in Australia and I think New Zealand, they've pushed these pretty far. I don't see us going to the moon. Like I said, 500-ish wheel horsepower on ethanol is really where I think we're gonna end up. So with that, that's all I got for you guys on this one. I'm hyped to get the Corolla done. It's one less car I have to repair now, and it's one less thing off my plate. And plus I have missed driving this car, so this thing will be an absolute blast with everything that we just did to it. So with that, that's all I got for you guys on this one. If you're hyped with the Corolla, if you're hyped with the Subarus, if you're hyped just in general with anything that we're doing, or you just like to hit the button, hit that thumbs up button. Turn it black, blue, green, yellow, purple, silver, cyan, whatever color it turns for you. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel and you want to be able to put it in one of these corners, no idea which one quite yet, but with that, I will catch you guys in the next one. So peace out, homies.